Welcome to A Husband's Heart.
I can't wait till I get you on for good looking. Baby, you and I so hot, just like an oven. And I just had to touch it. It's so fine.
Welcome to A Husband's Heart, a podcast where married men come together to share their stories and explore partnerships, commitment, love, and connection. Whether you're seeking insight, advice, or simply a place to feel understood, this is a space for real conversations from one husband's heart to another. My name is Terry Stinson, better known as T. Stin, and I'm so glad you joined us today. Now, before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe, like us, leave a comment, and share any questions you would like to ask my guests. This truly helps us grow and spread the message that till death do us part is not a death sentence, it's the foundation of a life well lived. Now, today's guest is Mr. Howard Dickens. He's 56. He's been married for 30 years. 0 kids. His alma mater is that UGA, Go Dogs. He's from the Midwest, and we're going to find out exactly which part of the Midwest. He's a Chief Learning and Engagement Officer for P Enterprises 360. Some of his personal and professional goals is to guide generations into their fullest potential by blending leadership, learning and technology integration and human connections, and with kingdom principles. Some of his personal goals and professional goals are to guide generations into their fullest potential by blending leadership, learning technology integration, human connection, and kingdom principles, especially for those overlooked and underestimated. Some of his relevant accomplishment, he served as a career day speaker at the Michelle Obama STEM Academy, inspiring first and second graders to dream big and think like entrepreneurs and kidpreneurs. I'd like to welcome Howard. Howard, welcome today.
All right. Thank you. I love that, Terry.
Yeah, listen, you sound like a entrepreneur, man of today. That's what you are. And matter of fact, before you even start speaking, I forgot some of his hobbies. Check this out.
Uh-oh.
He played alto saxophone, biking, visiting a gun range. No, not just visiting, I'm pretty sure, right? Working out, exploring museums, attending instrumental concert, jazz music, and binge watching great movies with his wonderful wife. Howard,
Yeah.
you are the man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sitting next to the man.
So I mentioned the Midwest. Now we talking Chicago, Kansas. What's the Midwest?
Yeah, outside, a small town outside of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, a small town outside of Chicago. Beautiful little place. And it's so funny, Terry, because one of the things I used to tell when I met my wife for the first time, and when she was at Auburn University and I was at Kings Bay, a naval sub base down there, and I would travel to see her every 6 hours. And once we got married about 3.5 years later, I said, hey, you know what? I'm from Chi-Town. I'm going to take you to the city, and everything. When we got married, the first year we got married, I said, okay, it's time to go and meet my side of our family. And so we're driving to Illinois, and Princess, I call her Princess. Her name is Bernadetta.
That's right.
So Princess she's riding, and she's cool. She's always been real cool, right? And so we're riding, and she's looking at all these wheat fields on the right and the left. And so we said, okay, all right. She's not saying anything. We're rapping and everything, but she's not saying anything about what she's seeing. But then all of a sudden we see that skyline, Chi-Town, Chicago, Sears Tower, and everything. And we're driving. Before you know it, it's behind us. And then we're driving, and we finally get to where I was born and raised.
Right.
She says, okay, wait a minute. This looks like we're born at a little small town.
Right.
So, yeah. So outside Chicago.
There you go. So listen, Howard, I have a few rapid fire questions just to throw your way, and I want to see how you handle them, okay? What's your favorite food?
Whatever her favorite food is.
Okay. What's a hidden talent?
The alto sax.
Okay.
The alto saxophone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you try stand-up comedy for $5,000?
No.
Okay. Money or happiness?
Happiness.
That's right. Would you rather travel to the future or to the past?
To the future.
Why?
Because I know that there's because of the planning that we've done, my wife and I, and the purpose that we have in our life.
Okay.
I know that there's something big out there, and it would be great to get a taste of that experience.
Okay. Who's your favorite celebrity?
That's a great question. I've got a few.
Give me a few then.
Give you a few.
Some of your favorite celebrities.
Denzel Washington.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. Who else? There's a couple of others. I can't think of their names right now.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. What trait defines you?
What trait defines me? Well, that's a good question. I would say just loving people.
Okay.
If we could use that as answering your definition of trait.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What makes you hopeful?
Just life in itself. Every time I wake up.
Right. Right.
You know, I'm given a new day that I've never seen before.
Okay.
Able to make maximum positive impact better than I did the day before.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. What's the coolest feature in your home?
The coolest feature, our media room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You like that media room.
I love that media room.
Who's your favorite colleague or superior at work?
Well, we work for ourselves. So my CEO, my wife is my favorite.
Good answer. Great answer. Great answer. So listen, great. Those are great responses. Now, before we speak about getting to the marriage portion, let's talk about you.
Okay.
Who is Howard?
Yeah. Who is Howard?
Who is Howard? We know you come from a small town outside of Chicago now.
Yeah.
I got that down. But who is Howard? You know, how was Howard in the in crowd? You tell me.
Yeah.
Was he the shy guy?
Yeah.
Was he the cool guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. We want to know.
Well, a little bit of both. I was cool. At least I thought I was cool.
Yeah.
Until I met my wife. But seriously, yeah,
Right.
I was the cool guy. I was
Okay.
and they used to call me Howard T the Hitman. Yeah, they used to call me Howard T because of football and just different sports and things like that.
I got you.
But you know, Howard was really he was always the friend. He was always the guy that made other brothers and people feel safe and comfortable.
Right.
And just being able to relax and hang out, never having to put on any airs.
I got
So
you.
I was that guy. Yeah.
Did you have any siblings growing up?
I didn't. I grew up as an only child. I do have a sister that's 18 years younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me this. What did you want to be when you were young? What was some of the things, or what was the one thing you thought you were going to be? Or, what the Howard wanted to be?
Well, you are bringing the rapid fire questions, aren't you? I really thought I'd be a U.S. Marshal.
Really?
I was really determined to get into law enforcement at that federal level.
Right.
And in fact, one of my buddies I used to work with at the Naval Training Center in North Chicago, we would just plan about how we would approach, coming down to Atlanta, coming down to the marshal's office and letting them know who we were. And so being a U.S. Marshal, and even at one time, Terry, I thought I'd be in Special Forces.
Wow.
And so it was, so those are two areas, but I wasn't cut out for Special Forces. I thought I was. I said, wait a minute. I see what some of these guys do. I was like, no.
Okay. And I want to get into it heavy, but how was your experience at UGA? And the reason I'm asking too, I have a daughter currently at UGA.
Yeah. It was fantastic. And here's why. I waited to go a little later in life.
Okay.
I was one of those guys, young guys. I think I wasn't a follower, but there was some impression, and I was really learning myself and learning how to navigate the waters of life.
Right.
And so, especially being an only child, there were a lot of things that I really didn't get a chance to go see and spend time with. So going later in life really helped me because my mind was right.
Right.
So, but to your question, it was fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So listen, I'm so excited now because I got an opportunity to speak with you earlier prior to the podcast and your wonderful wife. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it now. Listen, tell me the story on how you met your wonderful wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long story, Terry.
Well, listen,
how much time do we have? We're going to have to shorten it.
We got a long time, but I think we can give you the short version. But I can just see your smile, so I'm eager to hear it, and pretty sure my audience is too.
I'll do my best to keep it short. Well, I was at a naval submarine base in Kings Bay, Georgia, which is right outside of Savannah, Kingsland area.
Okay.
And I was there, actually was in intelligence, the intelligence space and communications. I was a civilian on the civilian side and not the active military. One of the things that I got a chance to do was meet some fantastic guys that were in the military, and we developed great relationships because I don't meet a stranger, and always building relationships, right?
Okay.
And so one of my brothers, we connected, and he was like, "Hey, Howard, now I want to take you to my hometown. I'm getting ready to meet this young lady. And, I think that she may have somebody that she could, hang out with you,
Right.
so why don't you come home, get a good home cooked meal?" And,
Right.
and so I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's get down with that."
Yeah,
I
let's
like
do
that. Little did he know that I actually had spent time in prayer. And I was like, okay, you know what, Lord, I'm really at this place in my life that I really want that partner. I really want someone in my life that could, that I could dream with, that I could believe with, that I could be able to reach these next levels with, right? And so I was like, okay, well, I just want to experience that next level, because I don't just want to be out here anymore.
Right.
And then the young ladies that were presenting opportunities to connect, I just wasn't feeling that. It just wasn't what I believed that the Lord had for me. So that dream really led to an opportunity for me to connect with my brother and travel to Montgomery, Alabama. So Montgomery, Alabama is where my buddy actually met the young lady. They were meeting for the first time. But to check this out, Terry, they actually exchanged pictures. They had photos.
Okay.
So they knew what each other looked like, right? They knew, right? But my now wife, we didn't know what each other. So we were really set up on blind dates. True blind dates. So it was so funny. And I'll tell you this real quick, and I'll keep this short, I promise.
No, we got time.
So one of the things that happened, my wife's girlfriend, they were best friends in college and everything. So one of the things that she did, you know what? You need to meet this guy, Howard. I've heard so much. It's something I never heard another brother compliment and just edify a brother like this. And so he must be some kind of dude, right? And so one of the things that she said, well, and Bernie, my wife, Bernadette, she was like, wait a minute. Look, you find somebody else. You got a lot of friends.
Right.
And in school, because they went to Auburn, AU.
Right.
And she said, you got a lot of friends. You're very popular. Get somebody else, because I'm not going to be babysitting anybody, right? So one of the things that happened, said, well, you know what? Just do this for me.
Right.
And she said, oh, by the way, he wants to talk to you. What? What do you mean he wants to talk to me? I don't want to talk to this guy. Well, her girlfriend convinced her to speak with me. And we talked on the phone, Terry. We talked on the phone about a couple of hours, maybe even 3.
Wow.
Yeah, 3. It was really amazing conversation. She asked me questions. How do you treat your mama? How do you do this? She just broke down these.
Right.
And she'll tell anyone that I answered those questions like you just did that rapid fire. I may have to circle back to that first one though, because I do love seafood.
Okay.
But anyway, in continuing, and I fast forward, one of the things that they did, it was so funny, Terry. She wanted to get a peek. So they knew when we were headed up to Montgomery.
Right.
And so she said, well, let's get a peek of these guys, see what they look like, because my boy, he was going to get his car serviced.
Right.
And so, well, we could have just peeked. So Bernie, why don't you just go up? They don't know what you look like. So why don't you just go up to the dealership and just get a peek at these guys, see if they really look like what they. And so anyway, she just missed us because we went to the hotel where her girlfriend was a manager, and we were there. We had a seat. We got a seat in one of the lounge area of the hotel.
Right.
So I got a chance to see her walking in.
Yeah. So you got her.
Yeah, I got her. It was
It
reversed. And let me tell you, when I saw her,
wow,
that's what I said. How do you spell wow backwards? Wow.
Come on, Howard.
And I mean it. And then I'm like, okay, look, I'm from Chi-Town. I got this little cut like one of the military guys because I look just like them, right? But man, I was like, I said, you cute thing, you
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I'm trying to, I got to have that, that tone and everything, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, let me tell you, when I saw her,
Yeah.
it was. I don't want to use the word magical, but it was. It
Yeah.
was a magical experience. Just seeing her and just then her. How cool she was, attractive, and then just knowing her from the conversations that we had over the phone, it was just, this is who this is,
Right.
because I already know who you are,
Right.
but this is who this is in person,
Right.
And so I want to jump forward to when we really got a chance to, when I got a chance to know that, hey, this is someone special for me.
Right. Right.
So my buddy hung out with his then girlfriend, and then Princess and I, we actually got a chance to go down to this, what was it? A pier. And the pier had this breezeway. And so we are sitting in the car. First of all, we're just talking and connecting and under a moon. I mean, it was almost like the movies, right? So your listeners, check this out. This for real. So we were sitting in the car just connecting and vibing, and it was just fantastic, right? So we were like, oh, let's get out and walk. And so we get out and walk, and we end up going through this breezeway. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. It's like deja vu. But I've never been to the South, not this far South, right?
Right.
I was like, wow, this is different. And so we're walking, and I'm looking around like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, Terry, I tell you no lie, at the end of the breezeway was this park bench. And then Princess, she stood by this park bench. And I was looking, I said, that's my wife, because I could see, because I didn't share this. Mm-hmm. So in my dream, the Lord showed me an image of a woman who had a wedding gown on, and she had her crown on and her veil, but I could only see half of her face. And so when she stood there at the end of that bench, I could see the other end of the other part of that face. And man, you talk about scared. I was like, you gotta be kidding. I'm shaking and everything. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Right.
This can't be for real. And so anyway, Princess, she's very inquisitive, always asking questions. They said, what's going on? You all right? You good? Mm-hmm. And so I started, yeah, I'm good. I'm all right and everything. But she said, no, you're not. Something's going on.
Something's going on.
So she gets out of me. So that first day, I shared with her the dream that I had. And she was cool. She didn't go,
yeah, right.
Let's get
right.
It wasn't that, but she was real cool, relaxed, but she took it in. Wow. But man, I was scared. Wow. I really was. So
listen, I'm
gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there.
So now the guy's female friend was best friends, or they were girlfriends.
Yes.
Okay, so they were very good friends also.
She lived with them for a while. Okay, while they were going to college. They went to college together.
And now listen, I'm thinking about that trip, because you guys were on the east coast of Georgia. You were in Savannah, right?
6 hours one way.
You had to come all the way across
Let me tell
Georgia.
You something, Terry. I drove every weekend to see my wife. Wow. Well, we were then girlfriend. 6 hours
every
one
weekend.
Way. Every weekend. Man, let me tell you something. When we had 4 days on, 3 days off, that I was already packed, ready to go. Let me tell you, I got in that, man, I got in my car. Man, I had this car. I had this turbo RX-7. It looked like a Porsche, right? And the thing is, I wasn't supposed to have it. Terry, I was not supposed to. It was pretty, but I was too young to be in it. I could not take care of the maintenance. And let me tell you, but it was bad. It was black. It looked good. And I tell you, it's real quick. So I decided to drive up there by myself. My buddy, he was driving up a few times, but let me, I need to do this myself. Yeah. So I drive up in my RX-7, right? And so she wants to, we're going to meet, we're going to connect. Right. And so she said, here's a spot where you can meet me, right?
Right.
And so it was at this corner gas station and said, I'll come up to meet you. And let me tell you, we got it there. She got up. She says, hi, hit the jackpot. This boy coming in here with an RX-7 looked like a Porsche. Terry.
And we're talking what?
I was 23 years old.
In the 80s.
No.
90s?
Early 90s.
Early
94, so 92,
94.
92. Because we got married
Oh,
in
yeah, you was
95.
doing it.
I was doing it.
Oh, you was doing it there. You had
Oh,
it.
man.
Now, hold on. That RX-7, is that a Nissan, a Datsun?
No, it was a Mazda, turbo RX-7.
Mazda.
Yes. Mazda RX-7.
Yeah, you was
limited. They
Well,
they
come on,
stopped
come
making
on,
it.
Come on.
Yeah,
You hit the limited on them.
I did.
You had it. She knew what
It
she
had me. It had me too. Because I could not look. You could get it on. You couldn't get it on my side, Terry.
Come on, boy.
Terry.
Take it home.
So here's how I did it. So what I would do, especially if I close the door, I'm like, dog, I closed that door. I can't get it open. So what I do is I go to the other side like I'm looking for something.
Right.
So it was like that. But let me tell you.
Oh, you're bringing back memories,
So
man.
she
Right.
embraced it.
Yeah.
She embraced
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of stories
Yes.
on my trips to Montgomery and
Right.
spending time with her and her family. Because the thing is, I was away from my family, from the Midwest.
That's right.
And so it was just me.
Right.
And so, of course, I built friends in Kings Bay at the,
Right.
at the Naval Sub Base and everything. But,
Yeah.
her family became my family.
Absolutely.
They took care of me. Bro, let me tell you something. I mean, I'm sorry, brother.
No, ain't with that, bro. Good. You good.
Let me tell you something. I never went back to Kings Bay without any food. I had everything that they, because her cousins, her mom, and I mean, they just took care of me.
So, and look, your friends who knew you were going to the Gump, as we call it. When you coming back with that food, I know some of your good buddies like, yo, man, what they give you this week, man? Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Or you probably said, man, it's all gone. Or you put it up.
No, I couldn't get down like that. I actually shared. And that's me. So we're talking about a trait, going back to that, circling back to that.
That's right.
That's one of my traits. I believe in sharing. I believe in caring and giving. That's Howard. I'm going to pause right there.
Yeah, because we could just stick on. So listen, so what is it about you that you think your wife found attractive when you guys first met or were dating?
Wow.
Yeah. What do you think?
My kindness. Like I said earlier, Terry, when we got a chance to meet each other over the phone, we got a chance to know each other. She knew that I was real. I said, yeah, you Chi-Town,
right,
but that was just me at least trying to posture and trying to demonstrate some confidence, because I'll tell you, man, I'm married up. And
most of us do.
Dated up. So when I saw her, she's, in the words of the famous J.J. Evans, dynamite.
Go ahead, bro. I won't expect it that way, but that's a good one. No, absolutely.
But she saw in me someone that was authentic, and caring, and then how I treated people, because you'll know a person, their true authenticity,
right?
How they treat people in the mall or the restaurant, and I just care about people. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel it's so necessary to be kind, because you never know what people go through, what they've been through, what they're facing, what their challenge is, right?
That's right.
And so I just feel like it's my responsibility to bring my authentic self.
Right. I can relate to that feeling too. And especially when you mention marrying up, dating up, not that you feel less, but when you have a woman of substance or a woman of quality, where your dream, similar to you, my wife, I had already envisioned.
Yeah.
And man, and when that comes true, or you see it manifest into reality, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. Like, it's almost like you'll honor your duty to cherish and to step your game up even more. Not that you were less, but you're like, yo, you know what?
Yeah.
Dreams do come true, right?
They do. Because the thing is, everything else, it could be a figment of your imagination or the appearance of what is good.
That's right.
She's a supermodel, or she's this, and I do have a supermodel now. But the thing is, that's what we think as men, as brothers, as that, hey, hey, I'm going to marry this supermodel, this floor model or whatever, but nothing else, no substance. And I know you haven't asked this question yet. I don't know if it's coming, but the thing is, she saw in me the authenticity. But let me tell you something. I saw the authentic her. I saw a woman that cared. She was sexy and strong, tough and tender. She was all of that, right? All in one.
Wow.
You know, like that song Ozzy Brothers say, built like a brick house and everything. She was everything,
Right.
all of that. And but the mind,
Mhm.
brilliant woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted that. And I believe God wanted that for me. And I wasn't going to run from it. That's why I drove 6 hours one way. 6 hours one way, Terry.
Wow, man, we can talk. Listen, as a matter of fact, a couple of things that come to mind. I can imagine when you're working all week after, you're dating there, she's the one, that exciting feeling for the end of the week. Like, I mean, and someone would say, you drove that many hours. You like, yo, I've got energy. I'm looking forward. I mean, you're like, yo, that's nothing to be with the person that you know. So my question too is, I noticed you mentioned you knew the Lord. So obviously your faith, when did you find the Lord? Was it early on when you were a little child, your teenager? When did you connect and knew that the Lord was your Lord and Savior?
Yeah. You know, I joined the church when I was about 9.
Okay.
9 years old.
Okay.
And my mom always had me in church, Terry.
I got you.
Oh my God. It was Bible study. It was the deaconesses meeting. It was ushers meeting. It was choir rehearsal. It was vacation Bible school.
I
And
know.
I mean,
VBS.
man,
Yes.
I'm like, oh Lord, I just want to hang out. Every once in a while, I got a chance to hang out with my buddies,
right.
my cousins. But it wasn't until I think it was about 15. I started getting into some things in high school, early on, and I needed to really I needed something more.
Right.
And I made that when I started to make that change, I started to ask for, I need some direction. I need a way out. I need to understand what my life is all about. I know I'm only 15, 16, but I still feel like there's more. And I tell you, Terry, my mom having me in church like she did, and we had fun. It was a lot of kids, we had a lot of fun, but I will be at church all the time. But what it did, it developed something in me, a hunger. But there's got to be more. There's got to be more than this religion. It's got to be more than reciting scriptures.
That's right.
I wanted a connection and a relationship. And I was about 18 years old. I was making a transition, leaving the house and really getting into, life and everything. And I had that experience, man, where I really felt that I connected with the Lord, and we connected, and we started to delve into a relationship. So it was about 18, and we grew together.
Wow. That's awesome. So how long did you date prior to the marriage?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. We got married that third year. So we started dating in 2002. 3, 4, 5. So 2005 is when we got married.
On the 90s.
I'm sorry, listen to me.
I got you. Look, I'm helping you out.
See, I'm telling you.
No. So we talking
95.
1995.
So 1992. 1992.
Yeah.
You throwing me off with
No. So look, I got you. We're gonna cover. We running this boat together, this ship. So let me take you back. Were you nervous on your wedding day?
Terry,
if you can talk to me,
Terry,
were you?
let me tell you why.
Tell me why.
So my wife, she got her gown. So I didn't know. You remember, I had the dream. Right. And I told you what I saw when she was standing at the end of the breezeway next to the bench, right?
That's right.
I said, that's her. That's my wife, right? That was 3 years earlier.
That's right.
But check this out. So she and one of her girlfriends, they went and got this beautiful gown. I was sitting out in the car.
Okay.
And so, but she wouldn't let me go in. So they were in this
like a boutique bridal shop,
like a bridal shop, right? And she was trying on dresses or trying on gowns, and she got this one gown that fit, and her girlfriend said, "You know what, Bernie, this is it." And then the owner actually said, "Oh, you know what? I got something for you." She went in back, came back up front with a crown. And so she put the crown on, and my sweetheart's girlfriend said, "Bernie, you look absolutely beautiful."
Wow.
And so anyway, so she comes to the car, they have the gown, she has it. And I said, well, let me see. You know, I'm naive. You know, she said, let me see. No, you can't look at this. You can't see this.
Right.
And of course, she told her girlfriend. She said, he's gonna freak out when he sees me in this gown.
Wow.
And so anyway, fast forward. I'm standing there with my buddies, a couple of my best men. I had two best men, and I'm standing there in this beautiful church in Selma, Alabama, actually, and a beautiful, beautiful place. And I'm standing there waiting for her to come down the aisle. Terry, she walks down the aisle in that dress that I saw in my dream 3 years earlier, and the crown, the veil. It was scary, man. It was scary. And I'm like, yeah, and I was, you talk about nervous.
Right.
That was for real. Lord, that was really you. This is no game, but this is for real. And so that's what, yes. Yeah, so
Wow.
to your question.
You were nervous. You got me nervous. This is, look, 30 years later, I felt like I was right there. And so listen, let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you proposed?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
You care to share that, or you?
I'll share it.
Share it.
So I ended up getting a job in Atlanta working for a dial page company, a pager company.
I got you.
You remember?
Yeah.
Remember those days, those big pagers, right?
Yes.
So I had a pager working for a pager company, and the manager was like, "Hey, you know what? You got a girlfriend coming up, right, or something? You know what? I got 2 tickets to the Atlanta Hawks." I said, "All right, Atlanta Hawks, okay."
Yeah.
I didn't know much about them, but I said, "Okay, let's get down with that."
Right.
And I actually I bought a ring. You know, it was not anything fancy,
Right.
but she had got a hotel, and I had an apartment I was actually staying with someone, but she had a hotel, and I went to her hotel to go ahead and I picked her up from the hotel so we could go to the game downtown. And I remember looking at her and coming in, and she was getting ready. We were getting ready to go. I said, I was like, okay, you know what? There's something I want to ask you.
Right.
And so I do what we see in the movies.
Right.
I get down on one knee, and I said, Bernadetta, so princess. Now, people can get away with calling her Bernie or Bernadetta.
Right,
I call her princess. So what do you mean calling me Bernie? What's up with that, right? And so anyway, I said princess. Just asked her, would you marry me? Terry. It was silent.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know what she was going to say. Terry, I was like, wait a minute. You know, this is the time. Movies.
Yeah.
In the movies. But
no immediate response.
But there was a response. Do you know what you're asking for? Do you really? Oh man, she let me know. Look, I'm responsible. You know, you're gonna have to show some. Are you ready for this next level? I'm getting this right. I'm on my knees.
Right. You're on your knees.
I'm on my knees, Terry. I'm like, okay, all right. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say here. But she's like, okay, yeah, I believe I'm ready for this. Am I really, right?
Right.
But she walked me through that.
Wow.
But it was the best walk-through conversation I've ever had in my life because it reminded me of who I had been dating all along. Because, man, let me tell you something. I grew and I learned from my wife as we were dating. I mean, she just brilliant woman, just and knowledgeable. You talk about street smarts. You know, I played like I'm from Chi-Town,
right,
and all of this.
Right.
Man, she knew how to answer, how to connect, how to communicate, and I learned a lot from her. And so in that moment, it was like everything was coming to fruition. And I was like, she eventually did say yes. It wasn't long and drawn out.
I got you.
But she let me know, look, I love you, and I'm in love with you. But let me tell you, this is what we're talking about getting into. So I proposed to her there, and then after that we hung out at the Hawks game. Had a fantastic time.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Listen, so we're gonna. I mean, and we're talking 30 years later. So obviously you chose well. You have done right. You guys have changed the world for the better. So let me ask you this: do you have a support system for your marriage?
Yeah. In fact, I think it's so important here. You know, when I think about my brothers, and from a husband's heart. We have, and I know we'll probably get asked this question later on, but we have spiritual parents.
Okay.
And the the husband or our spiritual dad is still here. He was married for 56 years to his wife. She passed away last year. And they have been that support system. And then there are others. We have couples in our life that we bounce ideas, we bounce things off, because it's so important. It's necessary to be able to have those couples in your life.
Right.
And nothing wrong with the couples that, may be going through different things. And, that's cool. People, have different experiences throughout their marriage, at different phases, different stages, right?
Absolutely.
But when you can have someone that has a strength in the area that you need, that you can bounce ideas off of. We have a couple in our life that, they have their own business and, they run a company, and we can bounce ideas off of them. I have a support system as a husband, have brothers in my life that I can, talk to. We can talk about man stuff.
Right.
Man, I'm in my 50s, and it's like, okay, is this supposed to be happening?
Right.
And to have someone that I can talk to, connect with, relate to, that's necessary. My wife, my beautiful wife, has, women in her life that she can talk to, spend time with, because, we can't always answer each other. That I need that man talk. She needs that woman talk. But to your question, yes, we do have a support system, not only as a couple, but as individuals.
Wow. Awesome. Now, listen, and you're helping me out, and I know you're helping my audience out, and that's awesome. And it shows that it's not just an age or a time period. Support. And support doesn't necessarily mean anything wrong.
That's
support. Right. Bouncing off ideas, hearing something that may take you to the next level. So, man, that's awesome to hear. And that's awesome that the people out there hear that. It's you should never stop learning. You should never stop growing. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So now, you and Bernie, you guys, it's like you guys just got married, but you already got 30 years in. You guys are like, just like yesterday, you just got married. You're fresh, you're energetic. I met your wife. Yeah. Awesome. But I'm telling you, it's going to be people out there say, 30 years? Yeah. I can't even get 30 minutes and I'm ready to leave this person. So they're going to ask you and Bernie, what's the secret to 30 years?
4 things. Know who she is. I never forget who she is. Always keep God involved in everything. Always make sure that we know that this marriage is not just about us. We have mutual purpose and mutual respect. And then responsibility. Can I elaborate on the 4?
Absolutely.
I promise not to be too long on them. Okay?
Absolutely.
So here's the first. The first one, we talk about never forgetting who she is. Right. I told you that earlier, that I call her princess.
That's right.
I don't just do that because it's cute. But I do that because it reminds me that she's royalty, that she's somebody's daughter, that she's special. I know your audience may be mixed. You may have some churched and unchurched, but when I'm talking about, when I see her and I think about her, Terry, I think about a woman that, Jesus, he died for her and me, right?
That's right.
And he returned both of us to life before the fall away from that grace, fall away from that experience that God wanted us to have. He created us both in his image and his likeness to be fruitful and to multiply. I see her that way all the time. I never forget that when we're together, when we're not together. That's my wife. That's God's child. She's made in his image and his likeness to be fruitful and multiply, to be my partner, right? And so when I see her, I'm thinking about that all the time before I say something. If there's something that I may not, agree with, I see that, man, this is God's child. This is his daughter. She's making impact with me, right? She's my partner in purpose, right? And so that's never forgetting who she is. The second, keeping God involved in everything, every decision. And I'm talking about including him in, when we're getting ready to make a decision. We own our own firm, or, our learning and development firm. And so one of the things that before we go and make a connection or build a relationship with someone, we're talking to each other and bringing him involved. Lord, what do you think about this? We're about to make this connection with this person, with this group, with this organization. Is this good money or is this bad money?
Right.
All money ain't good money,
That's
right?
Right. That's
All
right.
connections are not good connections. What's going to happen here? Lord, we need your direction. And check this out. and it's real quick. I won't go on a rabbit trail. I promise. One of the things that we did, we especially when we landed our relationship with one of our largest clients in Silicon Valley, a software development firm. One of the things that we got a chance to do was sit down with the VP of Ops and also the one of the senior leaders that I actually had a relationship with when I was in the nuclear industry. I spent 20 years there, right?
Right.
And so we were presented this opportunity to deliver a product, deliver some e-learning and some other training assets for this company in 3 months, right? It was a 3-month time period that we were supposed to deliver all these products. So they were like, well, what we'll do is, first of all, you don't have any competition. You don't have to bid, but we want to give you access to what we have. And so look at it, see if it's something that you can do. And if it is, great, let's move forward. If not, we understand, no problem, right? So Princess and I, we got a chance to, we say, okay, well, we could take a look at it, over the next couple of weeks. And then that will help us determine if this is the route or direction that we want to take. And so anyway, so we presented it to the Lord. We looked at it, we could do this. I know nuclear. And, I know the acronyms and all of that. So if once we know we're going to need a team,
right? So
I could teach them the nuclear side of things, right? But, as far as the understanding how things should flow, the design, they have PhDs, they're designers, they understand how that works. So Princess, she decided to do, we could do this. I said, with, me with my creativity, or we could do this. We could handle. She was like, well, let me go ahead and price this out. Let me go ahead and make a decision of how, let's determine if we can do this. Right. And she says, before we hit send, she said, let's ask the Lord, or let the Lord know if they look at this plan and this proposal and this pricing, and they say, yes, it's God, it's you. If they don't, it's you. If they do, it's you. If they don't, it's you. That's how we live our life. That's how we make decisions. And then at the end of the day, of course, they said, yes, you know what? It's a little bit higher than we thought, but hey, let's do it. We want to do it with you because of the relationship. But that's what bringing him in. That's an example of keeping him involved in the decision. The third thing is making sure that everyone knows, or that we know, that it's bigger than us. Our marriage is bigger than us.
Right.
It's about being able to be an example to everyone that sees us. We're supposed to be able to show people this is how much God loves you through our marriage. This example, we reflect God's love for the world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so, if we can do that through our everyday living, not just in public, but in private, because what we do in private will definitely show up in public. And then the last thing is being able to, the accountability piece, the responsibility. I'm responsible for who I bring into the marriage relationship. And she's responsible for who she brings into the marriage relationship. And the thing is, if we focus on ourselves bringing it to the relationship, then the marriage is going to be golden. It'll be what it's supposed to be, because guess what? I'm always working on me, whether it's my confidence, whether it's my walking in my security, whether it's walking in, talking, not going to silence, things like that.
Right.
So I'll stop right
now. No, listen, man, you got me. So listen, in speaking with you earlier, and your wonderful wife, and one of the most amazing things that I love about you guys' union is you would look at it and say, wow, they must came from, and they probably had parents that were married forever. But it's just uniquely, just talking to you guys earlier, how you guys pointed out a lot of things that you guys do in your marriages for things that you may not have seen, that it's like, hey, we won't do that. So piggybacking off of that, I know you were an only child, but did you see a healthy marriage, or how was that? What helped form you or get you prepared for this thing called marriage?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question, Terry. One of the things when I grew up, I got a chance to. I grew up in that Midwest town outside of Chicago, in a very, the neighborhood was fantastic. First when I grew up, first 7 years of my life, I was with just a single mom.
I got you.
And then my dad came into our life when I was about 7 or 8, right? And so we moved, my mom and I moved around a little bit. And then after that, Dad secured a place. We had a couple of spots, but then we ended up in a beautiful little neighborhood, older homes, but well kept neighbors and, close knit neighbors. Kids were good. We hung out, we climbed trees and all of that. Right. My dad, he was a man by day. He worked at a cement factory and really just proud of the work that he did. And in the evening, he was the guy that came home and worked on the car. Then he had a little garden in the backyard. He was working, doing that, growing his collard greens and tomatoes and everything. And then my mom, she was one that, she by day, she worked in a nursing home and she did that by day. But in the evenings, Terry, she was the one that made the house smell like pork chop and smothered potatoes. And, my folks were from Arkansas, right? Both parents. So I didn't have a chance. So we had coon, raccoon. Look, bro. We doing this, right? So we had coon and rabbit and squirrel and my God, I'll never forget. I won't go long here on the rabbit trail, right? Rabbit, right? Well, I'll never forget my wife. I was sitting down talking to one of my boys and we were talking about, just different foods that we ate. Right. And she's sitting there. This boy's country. Boy, David Boone. Come on now. David Crockett. And so that's what my mom and my dad, he would cook sometimes at Wild Game and everything in the house. And so on the weekends, especially Sundays, it was it was collard greens, turnip greens, mustards all, put together, neck bones and pig feet. Now look, I do not, what is it? How does it go? I do not approve of this. I'm not saying. I'm saying that's what I did. That's what I grew up in. And so, you good, man. You good. This is what I grew up in, right? But the thing is, that's who they were, right? Now there was tension at times, right. Whether it was, dealing with the finances and the money, as they used to say in old school, the money was funny. And just different things like that. And then the communication. And then there was one time, I'll never forget, my dad, a good man. He was a good dude, faithful to my mom. Right. And one thing happened on the job where he had a severe back injury. Sorry, he was injured on the job. Right. And it caused a back injury that turned into disability. It turned into them saying, you know what, we're going to need to let you go because this won't be productive. Right. And let me tell you something, Terry, that hurt him. And think about this. Check this out, Terry. These are people that moved from Arkansas. You remember that big migration in the 70s, the 60s and 70s? My mom and dad, they were a part of that. And when they got those blue collar jobs and working in the cement factories and sewing factories, my mom did that for a stint. But the thing is, when you lose that, it does something to your psyche, man. Absolutely. And I'll never forget my dad, when he lost that job, when they told him that he couldn't work there anymore. It took something from him. It impacted who he was, that provider, that protector, that leader, that man's man, you know? Absolutely. And I saw that in something else. It took his voice. My dad lost his voice. And so, and that impacted, and my mom, she's a good, sweet woman, full of fire. I can't wait to show you your sweetheart a picture of her, right? They fire, a little thing, right? But there were times that she, just because the way they grew up and understood about marriage, she really didn't know how to bring it out of my dad to help him to understand, baby, this is what's happening. It's okay. I love you. You my man. We got this. And she didn't always know how to say that. And so there was a little tension there. And so as far as how it shaped me into the man and the husband that I am today, I said, you know what? I'm going to make this vow. I won't go silent. There may be areas that if I'm dealing with confidence issues because of a blow to something that has happened in my life, I'm going to share that. I'm going to find what I need to find to share this with my wife. We don't have to yell and scream at each other. We can rap, we can talk, we can connect. at this level.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be up here. Doesn't have to be escalated, right? And I said, I made that vow. This is how I'm going to get down. This is how I'm going to flow. I want rhythm in our home. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the things that instilled in me, what I saw, I can't do that. Not because my dad wasn't a good dude.
That's right.
Not because he's a faithful man. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be faithful.
Wow.
But I'm going to also speak up, share my thoughts, be emotionally connected.
Yeah.
Right? And check this out. Last thing. If I got to learn how to do it, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about educated, understand what it means to be emotionally intelligent, understand what it means to communicate effectively, understand what it means to be relationally, have relationships, get better. Because I saw that my dad sometimes, as he was one, he loved being around his side of the family, his cousins and uncles and everything, loved hunting. Man, look, Arkansas was my Disney World.
Right.
We were always in Arkansas. Oh my God, every time. But when he lost that voice, it took everything from him. Wasn't gonna let.
Wow. Hey, I think you better stop. I might need one of these tissues. Look, I think I got a little makeup in the thing here. No, but listen, how I love what you said, and that resonated with me because I think our generation, not that we were the first, but our generation started to break that chain of silence in different areas. Because now you're making me think about my father. Great man, good man, provider, still alive to this day. And we just celebrated his 80th birthday back in November.
Congratulations.
But my situation is so similar because I'm thinking about the things a child can look and just see, with particular boys and women, but observing. And we can feel that spirit of, that's not good to do. Not that the person is bad, like either they were not attached to the fullness of what you can be to enjoy this thing called life, husband, man, being connected. And that was something I saw as a little boy too. I said, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna connect with my wife. I'm gonna date my wife. My wife is my girl. And I see that in you. I heard, just speaking with you and your wife earlier, you guys have all of that. And I love it. And just hearing you say that, I remember some things I saw my father would do. And I was like, and they were like horrendous, just bad things, but they were not good. They weren't wholesome. They weren't considerate. They weren't, like in your case, it was just that job took something from them and they identified with that versus you're more than just that. And a lot of our fathers and fathers before that, they identified based on what they did. And that's, that was the thing that put them out there. And just hearing you say that, bro, is because I'm not saying anything new. A lot of my guys I grew up with and before me, we've rarely heard our fathers ever utter the words, I love you. And my father, I felt it. I knew it. But man, I said to myself, when I have my boys or my kids, I'm telling them I love them. And I'm cool with that. I don't feel less. So just hearing you say that portion, man, it definitely resonated with me. And speaking of kids, I spoke with you. I know you and Bernie don't have kids, but maybe you can elaborate, because we spoke earlier on, because I know my wife had a question for you guys saying, being that you guys didn't have kids, did that give you even more of an opportunity to become closer, grow your relationship? And I do remember one thing that your wonderful wife said. She said something that resonated with me was, even if you guys had children, because you actually still do, you guys got nieces, nephews, you guys got a big tent. Biologically speaking, you guys don't. Your wife said something, man, and it stuck with me. She's like, I still feel Howard and I would still be the same, even with the kids. They would just see this. And I was like, wow. That kind of blew me away. I was like, that's awesome. So if you can expound on you guys' situation, because you guys been married 30 years with no kids. So some people out there going, wow, now how's that? So what's your take on that with no kids in the house?
That's a great question. And what Princess said to you is so true because of the intentionality. What we saw growing up, what we wanted, she grew up with brothers and sisters, and I grew up as an only child. I have a sister that's 18 years younger than me. So she really grew up as an only child, just like I did. And, but one of the things that we made a decision, Terry, is that we're going to love each other on purpose. And then for me, it was like I was gonna be responsible for Howard, what I brought into the house, what I created, the atmosphere that I created. I was gonna flip my hat, no matter what I experienced at work, no matter what I experienced on the street. If someone disrespected me or whatever, I'm not bringing that home to my wife. And if we had children, I wasn't going to bring that to them either. It's not their fault. I got someone that's in my life that I answer to. And I'm one that, I'm making a decision right here at the door. I don't know what she's gone through in her day. If we had children, I don't know what they've experienced during the day. I'm about to find out. But what I want to bring is that covering, that protector, that provider. I got this out here, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
even if I got stepped on or whatever, or felt like that, I'm not bringing it into our home, because this is our safe place. This is our Garden of Eden, man. And I want to make sure that when I come in again, I'm accountable for Howard. I'm responsible for me, what I bring. And so I'm going to bring kindness. I'm going to bring care. I'm going to bring questions. How was your day? What happened with you? Now, that doesn't take away the fact that I may have had a tough day.
Right.
But the thing is, I want her to know, I would have want our children to know, okay, what I see you, I hear you, what you do matters. I want to know what's happening. What's important. How can I come in and bring support to you? What do I need to do to make it better for you? So that intentionality is what I brought over the 30 years that we've been married. And if we had children, I would have done the same thing. We would have had to make adjustments.
Right.
We spent time with couples that have had children, and we've got a chance to, share our marriage and things like that.
Right.
One of the things we always let couples know that have families, whether they're blended or not, we get it.
Yeah.
You've got to do some more work.
Right.
You got a lot more things going on. But what I tell the brothers, handle it. Handle your business.
There you go.
Because the thing is, you got me.
Right.
You got brothers in your life. I hope I'm not getting too loud.
No.
Passive,
No,
right?
you good. You
One
good.
of the
Let
things,
the passion flow, bro.
So check this out. So one of the things I let my brothers know, hey, I'm here. Howard is here. Having that, we talked about earlier, having that support system, having brothers in your life, having a spiritual dad, or, some would call Godfather, right?
That's right.
I've got that. And so the thing is, hey, I need to vent. I need to, get this out of my system. Do it before you enter the door. Right. And so when you do that, then you bring the right type of energy into the house for healing to take place, for deliverance to take place. And I'm not talking about casting out devils and all that. All right. I'll let your audience know,
Right.
But what I'm talking about, whatever the hurt is, whatever the pain is, daddy's here. Wow. Your husband's here. And then check this out. And then what I do, last thing, Terry, is when I do that, guess what? You give and you receive. You put out, you get what you put out. And check this out. And it may not be in that instance. And I want to let my brothers know.
Right.
And you, bro, it may not be in that instance, but it's okay. Because guess what? Our wives and our children, they may have to process. They may have to walk through. They have to some steps to walk through. Maybe they had a tough day, so tough. Maybe the kids got bullied. Maybe something happened that went down. Maybe they lost a girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that. Maybe the coach said something, that, cussed them out or whatever.
Right.
But, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Because guess what? When I lay my head down, I gave. And I know I have a heavenly Father that's going to give back to me in some kind of way. And then my sweetheart, she's going to be, hey, you know what? I didn't ask about your day. And then I can share, not dump, but share what she can handle. Right. So I'll leave it.
Man, listen, I ain't gonna get through all these, Howard. So Howard, I want to ask you this. How has marriage enhanced your quality of life and evolution as a man? And you may have kind of already answered this, but what's your thoughts on that?
It's enhanced me in a few ways. Here's the top 2, 3. My wife and our marriage, it puts a mirror up before me. It helps me to balance. It balances me. It has reminded me of my responsibility, what I bring. So let me elaborate on that a bit. So when I say that our marriage, how it enhances me by putting that mirror up to me, because I see the blemishes, I see the little bumps, I see the wrinkles. Practically speaking, the areas that maybe I saw with my dad when maybe he walked in some, lack of self-esteem, or maybe, maybe he dealt with some confidence issues, or maybe he, wasn't feeling, that he is the big provider, the big man in the house and everything. And what I mean, big man in the house, not one that's walking around stomping and, let everybody in the house, roaches and everybody know that you're the man, right? Not that, but being I'm enough, right? And so my wife and that my marriage, it puts that mirror up to me to see that, okay, let's work on that. Wait a minute. You are made in the image of God and his likeness. And what you see here is someone that is not walking or functioning all the way in that. Remember who you are, right? And so when I see that mirror, it reminds me, okay, Howard, you're not walking in that. Wait a minute. You are this. You are confident. You are well collected, confident, and carefree. You are unshaken and unmoved and unafraid. Well, King Kong ain't got nothing on you, right? And so the thing is to walk in that, to look in the mirror and see, okay, am I doing that, right? Second thing, the balance. My wife and our marriage has really helped me to develop a balance and not being emotionally driven or moving in a direction too fast, and making sure that I know to slow down. One of the things, my wife's background is business management, accounting, and finance. I graduated with a degree in education, right? Instructional design and in that space. And so so I'm a creative. And so one of the things that we do for each other is balance, the relationship. So not only does the marriage and my wife it's enhanced me as a man who can look in the mirror, make the corrections, put on the makeup or whatever I need to put on, and or the skin cream that gets rid of the wrinkles or whatever. But the skin cream, the life, doing the things necessary to strengthen the confidence, build the courage back up, getting connected, staying connected with my brothers and so on. And the balance, making sure that I have a balanced mindset around different things that we may encounter, or what we may do. And then finally, the responsibility piece. It's enhanced my self-awareness. Man, it's so important. And I let my brothers know, I let you know that self-awareness is so important. What do I need to continue to do to bring the better version of myself? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then check this out. Don't be afraid to ask my wife, do you feel like you're getting the best version of me? And check this out. Don't get offended at the response.
Right.
That's something that we got to make sure we do as men, as husbands, as leaders. Don't get offended when we don't get the answer that we think we should have got. Right? No, baby. You you need some work you got some work to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Help me do the work, because my wife is brilliant. And she's a relationship person, man. I mean, she knows how to break stuff down. She can just look at situations. We call our company P360.
Right.
Right. She gives a 360 view to everything. And so I bounce ideas off of her. And, and so in this space, if I ask her this question, so baby, where do I need to grow in our relationship? What do you see or you're not seeing from me as a man, as your husband, as a leader, of our team or whatever, and to be okay with the answers, and then write down, okay, these are the things I need to work on, just like you would do in corporate, right?
That's right.
Okay, to be able to get that next level, and that's what you do. So
Awesome.
Paul, I'll stop right there.
No. Do you feel responsible for your wife's happiness?
I don't.
Expound.
Because the thing is, I didn't create her. I'm responsible for what I bring to contribute to her happiness.
Yes.
but being responsible for her happiness. That's our Heavenly Father. And then she has a responsibility to herself. Like, am I going to allow whatever my husband or anything external or internal to impact my joy, the joy that he gave me? You know, the joy can't be happiness. I can't manufacture that. But what I can do is contribute to it. I can make sure that I come in with the best attitude. I can make sure that I'm comforting and I'm loving and I'm sharing things with her and I have the right tone, you know, of love and mutual purpose and mutual respect. Mutual purpose, I care about what you care about. Mutual respect, I care about you. And she hears it in my tone. You know what I mean? And so, and so contributing to the happiness, that's what I'm responsible for.
You haven't written a book yet? Because I'm gonna take.
I have.
I'm gonna replay this and take some of this. So, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I've never had anyone to express it that way. Awesome. Should you have expectations of your wife?
Wow. And that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I expect my wife to be all that God created her to be. I expect her to walk in his love and the identity that he created her to be, in his image and his likeness, to be fruitful and multiply. I expect her to be the woman that walks in her wholeness, and because she's done the work on herself to walk in that wholeness. I expect her to be genuine because she is. I expect her to be authentic because she is. I expect her to be loving because she is. I expect her to be giving because she is. I expect her to be brilliant because she is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So all of these things, those are the expectations. Now, I don't have these expectations like some of the old school talk about, hey, look, I expect her to cook.
Right.
I expect her to clean. I expect her to look. I'm one of the. I'm either looking for my maid, my mama, or my mistress. Right. My maid. I expect you to clean up my dirty. I can't say that on the air. Underwear. Okay, I expect you to clean up my underwear. If I leave my shoes here on the floor, I expect you to get them. I expect you to pick up my shoes, put them in the closet where I could have put them on. I laid my clothes out. I expect that. Yeah. You, my maid, I expect you to cook when I get in. When my behind can cook, I can get down, Terry. And so the thing is, I'm not expecting that. My what is it, mama? I'm not expecting you to take care of me. And you know, I can't handle the. You know, I don't know how to make decisions about bills. I don't know how to, you know, I need you to, you know, just take care of me, mama, you know, and my mistress. And what I mean by that is that I only connect with you on a physical intimacy level, you know, without any accountability. I don't need you to answer to me. I don't need to answer to you about anything. And so those are not my expectations.
Hey, listen, when you had your run earlier, when you was hitting it, boy, you had me mesmerized. I was ready to give you the snap. I thought we had a poetry. I expected, boy, you had the snaps going, I can tell you. So listen, what do you enjoy most about being married to your wife?
Wow.
There's so many, I know. Listen, your smile and your radiance and the joy that, man, listen, since we started talking, man, it's infectious and it's awesome. Yeah. You have the joy the same way when you saw her walk through that tunnel. And I can just see it from even 30 plus years ago.
You trying to make me cry.
Man, I'm trying.
Why don't you leave me alone, man? Why you trying to look?
Listen,
didn't I tell you they called me Albert T to hit me? Like, why are you messing this up, man? Okay, all right. No, I ain't going there with you.
No, I got you. I got you.
So ask a question again.
So that's your delayed tactic. I got you. No, what do you enjoy most? I mean, what do you enjoy about being around Bernie? About your wonderful, awesome wife, man.
There's so many things.
It's so many.
But if I could just name a few, I get to do life with her. My best friend, my buddy. I get to do life with my buddy. You know, something that she said to me the other day, Terry, and we were trying to make a decision about a direction that we wanted to take with a particular business. And me with my energy and everything, I'm like, well, let's get down. Let's do this. We could go. Let's meet this. Oh, hold on, Howard. Let's slow down, baby. We need to. There's some things that we need to do. This is the end of the year. This is the first of the year. We need to make sure that our infrastructure is where it needs to be coming into this new year, especially under these opportune times, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, this is it. But okay, sweetheart, understand. I'm not trying to dim your flame or anything, but here's what we need to make sure: this, and this, right? Get it? And she says, Howard, I'm glad you get it, because you my dude. Man, Terry.
Go ahead, brother.
Don't give me those tissue, man.
No, man. Hey, I'm the crybaby in my family, so you ain't doing that I would do 10 times over.
Man, when she told me,
yeah,
you
my dude, man, how did
when you get to do life with someone like that, that gets you,
right.
She gets where I came from. She gets the guy that had that Miles the RX-7 that you can go to get it on the other side, the left side, the passenger side of the door. She gets me that, I want to do right. I want to be, I don't want to be famous, but I want to make an impact. I want to be influential. I want to touch lives. I want to show people, my brothers and, and young people that, you got this thing.
Right.
Get your stuff together. Right. Man, you wasting time. You wasting energy.
Right.
And, going at it with each other.
Right.
Man, get that stuff together, man.
Yeah.
So we can get down, so we can see you, building that legacy, so we can see you make an impact. And I got someone that's right there that gets me and calls me her dude.
And this is the piggyback off that. It's all in the same vein. What is something about your marriage that you hope never goes away?
She's got this thing that she does every day. We text, we either texting each other, or we're working from home now, and so she will let me know, or we let each other know, I love you and I'm in love with you. So text it. She will check on me throughout the day. I'm in the house, or even if we go somewhere, have I made it? And I say, yes, baby, I'm here. Or I do the same thing with her. I've reached this certain destination. I'm here hanging out with my boy Lee. And, we're here. And she's okay, good. Tell him I love him. And I said, hello. I said, okay, you got it. If I'm upstairs and I'm in deep with our team, we're designing maybe an AI avatar video or something like that. And working on some type of project. And, she hears quiet. So she'll yell up the stairs or something. Said, all right, don't make me come up there now. What's going on? You all right? You all right? That connection that she wants to have with me, to make sure that I'm good. If she knows that I got off a call with a client or someone that, maybe it didn't go, extremely well, and she say, you good? I don't feel it. Let's talk through this thing. Well, I don't want that to ever leave. And then being able to touch lives, Terry, man, when we go places, people are wanting to connect and wanting to find out more. And, but it's because we've done the work.
Right.
She did the work on herself. I did the work on myself. And then we came in. Now we're that reflection.
Listen, now I'm going to ask this next question, but I kind of got the answer. And I know you guys are a little deeper than my audience does, but I will ask the question for the sake of them. But just listening to you and the stories and the information I've already gathered, you guys' marriage, you work together, you love on each other, you have fun. You get to work on your marriage as you do marriage. It's almost like you mentioned the balance, the rhythm. With that rhythm and that balance, you guys are doing life/marriage with all the goodness and improving. So my question is, because someone will ask you this, Howard, because listening to you, where's the weakness? But this is the question. In what area do you need to grow in order to make your marriage stronger?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that may be difficult because you're probably doing it automatically.
Yeah.
But that is the question.
You know, speaking as a husband, because I want husbands to know this. When you talk about something that I need to work on, my wife, she's so good. She's so cool. She helps me with it. Sometimes if things don't go the way that I expect, or I'm this big dreamer, man. I want to make this maximum positive impact. I want to do things that my dad didn't get a chance to do, especially when he went down with his back and everything and he lost that voice. Sometimes I have there's a tendency to repeat some of those things that my dad did. And my wife, she's so attentive and she'll remind me, okay, got it. It's okay. We didn't get that contract. It's okay. We didn't reach this level just yet. Let me tell you something, Terry. I'll be real quick. Princess has never made me feel like I wasn't doing it. You know what I'm saying? And a perfect example. When we lived in our first home after we moved out of our apartment. We used to live in the Riverdale area. Then we moved into a spot in DeKalb County, right? Beautiful home, our first home together. Man, our friends, man, they started to get big, in their roles and their jobs, and and they started moving into these big homes and everything. And I started to feel some kind of way, like, I need to be doing this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Howie T, I'm Howard. Hey, we can do this too. Baby, it's okay.
It's okay.
We will get there when we get there. We will experience this when it's time to experience it. We're fine, baby. I'm not trying to run with them. I'm not trying to be where they are because I know God's got us and we got each other. You remember that movie, Terry? Was God, and it was the movie. It wasn't them real life. What was that dude's? Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt.
Right.
You remember when they had each other's back? They were back to back, and everybody was shooting at them and everything, but they had each other's back. That's what she was, and that's what we were for each other. I got you. Hey, we don't have to worry about, what they're doing. That's good. But she's always made me feel like I was more than enough. And I've got what it takes. We're here. You know what? We're going to get to that next level together. You and me. And so to your question, to make sure everybody's clear, is that work on, making sure that I'm not, coming too hard on myself.
For yourself, feeling less than.
Yeah.
That you're adequate.
And those signals. Yeah.
And you good. If I'm good with you, you're good.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. So how do you, and this, yes, you know what? When it comes to you, because you're special, man. These questions.
Hey, man, what you mean I'm special?
In a great way. Listen, my question is, how do you resolve conflict in your marriage?
Yeah.
But as you stated earlier, and you've already shown, see, these questions are almost reactive.
Yeah.
But you guys are so proactive with your marriage. You beat the devil to whatever he may be trying to do, in a sense. Like you guys already so in tune to one another.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But how do you, maybe it's not conflict, but how do you guys resolve differences and whether there's opinion? And it could be something small.
Yeah.
But how do you handle that?
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because it's the difference. And conflict doesn't have to be bad. Sometimes we turn conflict into something, a bad term or whatever, but differences. I love that. One of the things that we make sure, there's actually 3 things that we make sure that we always do. We remember who we're talking to. Remember who we are in our marriage. And 2, I'm with my ally, not my enemy. And what do we really, the mutual purpose and mutual respect.
Right.
Okay. The first one, meaning that we need to make sure that we recognize or respect each other, who we are, and that I know who she is. She's my wife. She's my partner. She's my best friend. And many times what we'll do whenever we may not agree on something, that moving in a direction or whatever,
Right.
what happens is we will, we always say, what, sweetheart. We begin our phrases or begin what we're about to talk about or deal with, with sweetheart or baby, look, that may help me help me to understand. Because the thing is, I'm not trying to, she nor I is trying to be right or trying to prove each other wrong. We're trying to learn, trying to strengthen the relationship, trying to, whatever it may be. This is what we want to make sure that we're doing. Right. And then secondly, we remember that, how important it is to that mutual purpose and that mutual respect, right? Mutual purpose, I care about what you care about. Mutual respect, I care about you. And when we do those things, that's what really helps us to get through whatever it is that we may not be agreeing on, and then we can move forward. So remembering who we are in that relationship, remembering mutual purpose and mutual respect. And there was a third one. I got a little thrown off there, but let's see, making sure that we're allies. We're allies and not enemies.
That's all.
So we're allies and not enemies.
Now, should you and your wife have separate interests or interests in common?
Should we have separate interests?
Right.
Expound on that question.
Like when I've asked this in the past, like I will ask like certain hobbies or interests that one may not share, but yet at the same time you may have some interests that you do share in common.
Yeah, that's healthy.
Yeah,
that's healthy, man. I think that having both is important in the relationship, because we're different. There's the diversity makes us grow, helps us to really bring our whole selves to that relationship, whether it's in leadership, in business or marriage or family or, whatever, right? Bringing that, all of that brings that best in us, best out of us.
I got you. Got you. So listen, that's, man, I can go on now. It should, or is your wife your number one cheerleader?
Oh, yes. Number one. Number one.
Awesome. So listen, now I want to ask you some, what I like to call some man questions.
Okay.
Or, who are your heroes?
Captain America. Or
Thor was
Black Panther,
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I mean,
so, those are, I'm a Marvel's guy. Marvel, Star Wars, I love all that, man.
Right.
But in life, my heroes are, those. There's a couple of men in my life that I really just admire.
Right.
One that's who I call my spiritual dad. Some would say Godfather. He's a hero because, he spent 56 years loving his wife, honoring her, respecting her, partnering with her. They were teammates, man. They did everything together. They ministered together. They preached together. They just loved being around each other. They did real estate together. And, and he did all of that with her until she passed last year. In fact, he stepped into my life when my dad went through the time. There was a time that he really, in 2008, when he was really struggling with his health, and it was a pretty tough time because we were going back and forth to the hospital. He eventually passed away in 2008. With some physical conditions, physical issues, and with diabetes and things like that. And I remember he stepped into my life. Godfather stepped into my life, and he just took it. Hey, I'm gonna be your dad.
Right.
And he became that for Princess and me. And then another one is another man of God. We call him he's another spiritual father, and he's a hero to me. So really two big heroes.
So this is what the young people say. We old folks, now I'm calling myself old folks. We may use other terms like temptation, things. But this, how do you handle, and let me preface this, because I spoke with your wife earlier, we all did.
Yeah.
And I love how she says something, how because you guys deal with a lot of different people in business.
Yeah.
So you have new clients, you deal with large, small. Yeah. So you're constantly having humans in your life.
Yeah.
So this question is a good question. It's saying, how do you handle, and this is what young people say, someone crushing on you? opposite sex,
Yeah.
someone who may have certain feelings, and you can just see the Google eye.
Yeah.
How do you handle that, Mr. Howard?
Yeah. That's good. You know, that's a very good question. Necessary, especially for a husband, especially do all the bragging that he's doing and talking about how much he loves his
That's
wife
right.
and in love with his wife.
That's right.
I set up guardrails. I have guardrails, and I'm attentive. I'm paying attention. I know there's a lot of attractive people that we deal with.
Right.
You know, men and women. She's my wife's gorgeous, brilliant, and and I know that guys are gonna be attracted to her. And I know that I'm a pretty okay looking guy. And so, some ladies are going to look at me and try to make it advance or just test the water. Right. And I let them know immediately, in just in conversation, man, my wife, I'm bringing up my wife's name. Man, my wife is this. Oh man, I wish, you think I'm this? Oh yeah, my wife helped me put this together. But then, making sure that I have the guardrails up. I'm not spending alone time. And I know that we may have to do business together, but we do this, then that's it. No after hours dinner, no connecting, after dark and all this, no talking to each other on the phone or texting after dark, whatever. You may text me, but you may not get a reply until that next day. It will be business, and when I'm in the gym or whatever, everybody knows that that's, man, I know everything about his wife. Everybody, men and women. So it's the guardrails. Right. Protecting the mind. Right. So, that's what keeps me making sure that in anyone that may have that, what did he say, crush?
Yes.
No.
Crush. That's what they said. Crushing.
And I'm attentive. I'm paying attention.
Absolutely. And you know what, the word, and I was about to say this, and you said it just naturally. Speaking with you and your wife earlier, one of the words that popped in my mind when I think intentional.
Yes, right.
You have to be intentional. And even though that was a question that I asked you, is so important, particularly for those out there, particularly young men and men in general, where you hear the terms, it just happened. Yeah. I fell into it. Yeah. I love how you say I'm intentional. I set guardrails. I say these things. I don't take calls after this time or I don't respond. Yeah. So you have to be intentional with your speech and your action. That's right. So, man, great answer. Yeah. Great response. Do you take... Can I jump? Go ahead. Sure. That, tell my brothers, and I share this with them, and I practice it. You don't just fall into anything. That's right. It's a process. Right. And we know, when someone's crushing on us. That's right. I see you using the term. We know when, wait a minute, that was an interesting way she said that. Right. Right. Shut that down, cut it off immediately. Absolutely. Because the thing is, you don't want to take advantage of that, whether it's underdevelopment or that what's the word, Terry? That vulnerable moment. Right. Just because maybe there's something that's not happening or you don't feel like it's happening fast enough for you at home or whatever, you need to check that. You need to correct that. You need to, okay, what am I doing? Talking about the intentionality, me being responsible for me. That just doesn't mean me being responsible at home. It means me being responsible in the street. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And so when we do that, we don't just fall into anything. Right. And then we got to, as husbands and as men, remember the mission, remember the vision, remember the purpose, why we're here, why we are with the one that God placed in our lives as our gift, as our partner for purpose, partner in purpose, And so, because the thing is that one that is crushing on us, they see something that she built, that she put the time in with me, that for 30 years. And I got to, not her out there in the street with somebody crushing on me. I got to remember that, Terry, no matter how good she looked, right? That's right. And so that means that I'm going to keep on walking. I'm going to keep on moving, and because I don't get down like that. Absolutely. And that's where you have to always be able to say, look, I don't get down like that. My next man question is, what's your take on guy trips? Yeah. What's your stance, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah. That's good. We know the type of brothers that we want to, that are the brothers that are in our life, especially us as husbands.
Right.
It's important that, we know we're not we know that sometimes there will be brothers that will have that locker room talk, but when they're with me, when they're with you, we need to be able to say, okay, look, we're not going there. We can have fun. Like I go with my boys, we go to the shooting range, we go shoot.
Right.
And I'm learning the golf game. I haven't really been able to get down with that yet, but I'm learning. I got some boys that really, really enjoy golfing, and so I'm want to learn how to play. But when it comes to things like fishing and shooting and going, I know who is in my circle. And I'm always attentive to, okay, this brother, I know he may talk a little too much, but but he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure that I check that, and then we can still have fun. So I think going on trips, knowing who's in your circle, letting your wife know, hey, these are the brothers that I'm hanging out with. You good with that? Because they know sometimes our wives know some stuff behind the scenes because they talk to their wives.
Right.
This brother, he a nut. He acting, he be doing all kind of stupid stuff, right? And so the thing is, being able to bounce that off of our wives is also good. But to be able to hang out, having trips, it's necessary. It's important. It's important to bond as brothers, as men, as husbands. But check this out. We're not 15. And so we got to make sure that we don't get down with the locker room talk, well, did you see that and all of this? No, we're not 15 years old.
Right.
Because you see, the thing is, we turn on stuff, and then we're here to build dynasties and everything, right? And so we want to make sure that we remind each other as men, as husbands, of that when we're in places and settings. Because anything could come and stir that mind. And then when you find yourself, maybe you're away from your boys, and guess what? That one that was maybe crushing on you, you find up yourself in a corner. What you gonna do?
What's your thoughts on loaning money to family and or friends?
Yeah, my wife and I we must be in agreement. Because the thing is, and you know this, Terry, sometimes some family members, they may not, I don't want to say have the need, but there may be an enablement. And so we have to make sure that we talk it through. Okay, who is this that we're talking about giving to? And then check this out. Is this something that we can afford to give right now? Is this something in our bank? Because like we have a pot of money where, this is gifting. I'm not asking for it back. Whatever you do with it, however you handle it, it's going to be a blessing to you. Don't be trying to lend it back or anything. So we just make sure that, okay, we have that. And when that's gone, then it's gone for that year or whatever.
Right.
But the main thing is, Terry, everybody, we're in agreement, whether it's my side of our family or her side of our family. Does that answer your question?
Man, how do you distinguish boys from men?
Yeah, in their decision making. Just like I was talking about just a little while ago with, I'm running around. These my brothers in their 50s and, and things like that.
That's right.
So, when you are 50 some years or 50 some years old or 60 some years old, still trying to impress the boys, you're, look at what I can get. I can get her attention. You see how she was looking at me?
Exactly.
You 15 years old in the head, So decision making.
Absolutely. Great one. I pretty much know the answer to this, but guess what? I still want to hear you. Are you joyful about the current state of your life?
Say that one more time.
Are you joyful?
Yeah.
About the current state of your life?
And did you see who I came in with?
Man, come on. I told you I already knew the answer. But I just want to hear you. Listen, I told you earlier, man, just the way you're smiling, you're radiant. And even just the way you look at your wife, man, I'm like, man, I want to get there. I'm not too far behind, but man, you got a good cheese, a healthy cheese, not no hen peck. You have this admiration.
By the right hand.
Man, you packed by the right one.
Look,
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. No, so
I did in high school.
man, come on, man. Come on. So I know this is an emphatically yes. I know you're joyful at the current state, and you're excited about the future.
Yeah.
Every day, man. That's awesome. You're at that level that I would say I'm striving to be, to get to.
Terry, you got to try to get me to get tissue. Ain't you?
Well, you go already big meat grab one, man. Well, listen, this is what the ladies like to hear about men, from us men.
Yeah.
In the romance area, what are some of the romantic ways that you show your wife love?
Wow. I do my best to keep the romance alive.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I do, and we do this every month, on our anniversary is coming up, June 17th.
Right.
So every month we compete to see who's going to either text each other, give each other a gift, or just shower each other with some type of blessing on our anniversary date. So every month we're celebrating each other. Every month. And then love notes. I still give my wife love notes, whether it's in the text or maybe a paper around the house, or and making sure that she knows that I see you, girl.
Wow.
You got it going on, and then just romance to me is knowing what romance means to her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And romance to her at times it's just us cozying up. Cozying, is that right? Cozying?
However you put it out. That's what it is. Yes. Yes. That's
binge watching
Come on.
a movie.
Yes.
It's romance to her.
Yes.
And so that's me saying, hey, look, I want to find out, what does it mean to you? Sometimes we talk about love languages. What is your love language? What does it mean to you?
Awesome. So listen, this is my last one for you. What is something that you want your wife to know and never forget?
That I love doing life with her. I love doing life with her.
Wow. You don't even have to add to that, Howard. Listen, you've been awesome. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know my audience got something from it. So another great conversation, another amazing guest, and another marriage story truly worth exploring. I want to thank you, Howard, for today, for spending time with us and sharing your journey. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in. Until the next episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and give me any questions you would like for me to ask my guests. This is T. Stin on The Husband's Heart. And remember, talk to me, I'll listen. Thank you. Howard, thank you so much. My dude.